Hey, what's really good? It's your girl LaTangela, and you know it does my heart well to have this time together with so many of my faves. Now, you know, when I say my faves, I'm talking about my people, the ones that showing up and showing out every chance they get because they do it in the spirit of excellence. Now, you know, Miss Shirley, she is known for being in the hot seat and on the tan line, the mastermind, the visionary, the heart and soul behind Metro Health. How are you, Miss Shirley?
Hello, and how are you?
I'm holding on.
Doing great.
That's good. And thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I know we have our nurse practitioner, Kristen Collins, on the tan line. She's over there serving the people, making it happen. And, you know, when Miss Shirley and Kristen show up, I know they're going to bring some amazing people with them. Now, I've been trying to lock down this interview for the longest, but the man be so busy out here just making it happen. None other than our mayor pro tem, the Lamont Cole. How are you?
Good afternoon. Greetings and salutations. Good afternoon.
You know what? Here it is. Vaccination is still a part of the conversation. Miss Shirley, it's like, one, we may be tired of hearing about it. We may be tired of talking about it. We may be tired of realizing that this is the new norm, right? But it is. Over at Metro Health, you all have been doing such an amazing job of getting us geared up to get back to a sense of normalcy and to get life back to what we once knew. As of now, we're hearing a lot of information going out about more boosters and children ages 5 and older being able to get vaccinated. Tell us a little bit about the process with that.
Well, what is very, very important with vaccinations now is the second booster. Now, most people will think, oh, I've had my second booster because they had the initial shot, then they had a second shot, and they had a booster. However, there's more.
Right.
There is another booster that needs to be done. Now, I'm going to turn this over to the nurse practitioner who's going to explain who is eligible and also the time between the first shot and the 2 series after,
right,
the first booster, and when you need to get your second shot.
Because that is important. Ms. Kristen Collins, I know that you're out here getting the information out about these boosters. As Ms. Shirley mentioned, there are certain people that are qualified for the second booster. Now, this sounds too much like homework. Can you break that down for me?
Yes, ma'am. So far, the CDC is recommending that people over the age of 50 get the second booster, or people who are immunocompromised, like your cancer patients, HIV, AIDS, those type of patients. Sickle cell should also get the second booster regardless of their age. And so the second booster is usually due 4 months after you receive your first booster.
Okay.
Is when you should get the second booster.
And all of this information, of course, it is free and open to the public. And we always express the importance of checking with your doctor, check in with your physician, know what's on your charts. It's important to start the conversation, but it's even more important that we're having the conversation. And I know that now outside is beginning to reopen, and we don't want to let our guards down and then have to digress. Because I'm looking forward to doing some amazing things. Like right now, District 7 is getting ready for the ultimate spring fling. And when you say the ultimate spring fling, Easter is here. We got all of our family and our friends that come into town. We got the crawfish balls. We got the Easter egg hunts. We got the Easter basket giveaway. Now, Lamont, they said on the flyer that it's 500 Easter baskets. I'm going to tell you now, it's 499 because one of those baskets belong to me. I would skip the line with them kids. And I'm trying to get my picture with the Easter Bunny too.
We're going to make you a special basket. Absolutely. The queen of radio deserves a special basket.
My boy. Tell us a little bit about the thought process of putting together this spring fling for District 7.
Well, you know, one of the things we recognize as a result of the pandemic is there hasn't been very many gatherings of community over the 2 years we were in the middle of the pandemic and really dealing with high contraction rates of COVID-19 and the various different variants of the virus. So we hadn't had that very much. And so now that it seems as if things are getting better, what we are thinking about doing is trying to bring community back together. One of the things we learned, LaTangela, as a result of the pandemic, when we went into isolation, we started to see an increase in crime.
Right.
Prior to the pandemic, when we were able to participate in community events, when we were able to gather together as family and community, we were much better, and we were able to resolve issues a little bit better. Now, we do have issues with crime every year, but we saw a huge spike in crime as a result of the isolation we were experiencing and some of the conflicts that were coming up as a result of the isolation, being around one or two people a little bit too much. We saw increases in domestic violence. We saw increases in homicides as a result of that. We have to do the things we know work, and that is when community is able to get together, interact in a safe space where there is activities for children, where there's music, where there's food, where there's fun. We recognize it decreases crime, it helps to heal, it helps to change the cultural awareness of a community, and that is the thought process behind putting together the Spring Fling. Prior to 2020, we've always had an Easter egg hunt for the students in District 7, for the kids in District 7. We've always tried to do something in the park. This year, we wanted to try to do more of a family-oriented activity where we'd have stuff for the kids. We'd do the Easter egg hunt, but we'd also bring together our partners, like Metro Health and other sponsors like Ms. Lolis and her team, like the East Baton Rouge Parish School System, like Perfect 10 Productions, Go Ride. We wanted to bring together a whole host of sponsors. Breck is going to be there. So the children, East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office, BRPD, so the community would have access to resources in the environment where we know the community needs them the most, and we could have fun. The weather is going to be fabulous on Saturday.
Yeah.
We're going to start at 10 a.m. to 2, to 12. It's not going to be an all-day event, but we want to try to do these things. And so I'm just happy that Ms. Lolis and her team are going to be there to provide support in the healthcare space. And then we have a host of other volunteers, partners, and sponsors who are all going to be on deck to do the same. And so it's just going to be a tremendous day, a fun-filled day, and I'm so looking forward to it. I'm so excited about being able to do this for the community.
Absolutely. And, you touched on a lot. When you start talking about unpacking a lot of the things that we had to deal with during that pandemic, the isolation and sitting on those islands, and people who had the issues and the obstacles that they were already struggling, trying to overcome, it becomes hard. And when the world shuts down and we can't look to our right or to our left to ask for help, because in those moments, we realized that the help needed help.
That's right.
And a lot of broken systems were exposed. And a lot of people, we lost so many people. And while we were already hurting as a community and the trauma was already there, now when you talk about the crime rates going up, we didn't know if we were avoiding COVID or bullets, which one was coming first or fastest. And now we're getting back to a sense of normalcy, and we're really trying to desensitize the fear, because we're still there. We're still there. And the trauma, it's still there. But knowing that we have community partners and those who are always on the scene, such as yourselves, making this happen, it makes life a lot easier, because we know that the community is in our corner. We are seen, we are heard, and that we are getting the resources. And just as a quick thank you to some of the sponsors that you all have listed here for this District 7 Spring Fling, and this is just some. We're still looking for more volunteers. You still have time to become a vendor, a sponsor, a resource. Thank you to Metro Health, World Shakers. You have M Grove, Upward Bound Library Services, the Bank of Baton Rouge. Let me hold 5. Chris Livas is there, as well as the Alzheimer's Association. Employ BR. Speaking of Let Me Hold 5, now they are out and about really helping people getting jobs and get employed, and job training is a big thing of theirs as well. Louisiana Health Unit, you have DHDS, BRYC, OLOL, LSU. You have Ramonte Williams, SELU, Faith Fund, Gino McLaughlin, I see you, Galatians 6-2, CAFA. You have Baton Rouge, Louisiana Jumpstart, and that's just to name a few, as well as Greenville, Eden Park Neighborhood Group, and OLOL. Now, Lamont, when you're on the grounds day in and day out, working all of these districts, and as the Mayor Pro Tem for Baton Rouge, you understand that we are needing more resources. But what is it looking like when you're having the conversations with families? Are they receptive? to receiving the help or even asking for the help?
Listen, I think families, we all, no matter what your state in life is, your economic status, in terms of your finances, we all want the same things. We want to live in healthy communities, safe communities where there is access to food, fresh produce. We want to make sure that there's access to entertainment, there's access to restaurants, there's access to healthcare. We recognize in the parish of East Baton Rouge, city of Baton Rouge, some neighborhoods don't have the same access. All families want the same things, but some don't have the same access.
Right.
A lot of times on the ground, speaking with families, they're uninformed about where to receive those services, to receive the resources. Because if you don't see it in your community, if you don't have a robust grocery store in your community, if you don't have options in terms of restaurants that you can visit in your community, sometimes you think two things. One, I don't know where it is. Maybe it doesn't exist. Two, if it does exist in our city and it's not in my neighborhood, it's because those who run our city don't care. And I'm here to tell you that is not the case. There are people who are serving in leadership positions in the city who care and love members of our community. There have been trends around the country, but more particularly in Baton Rouge, where economic development and restaurants have shifted to different regions of the city. But we still know that there are great people who still live in communities and want those things and need those things.
Yeah.
We just have to do a better job of making sure they know where they are first. And then as they know where they are and are able to access them, we do a better job of making sure we redevelop the community such that we bring what once existed in North Baton Rouge back to Baton Rouge. That's the entertainment, that's the access to healthcare through having robust hospitals in the community. That is also access to entertainment, whether we have bowling alleys, whether we have venues for people to visit so they could have fun. We have to be intentional about making sure we do two things. One, make sure people know how to access the resources, but two, make sure we also are working on development in those underserved communities. So when you walk outside in the area that has been disenfranchised or underdeveloped, after a period of time, after a period of working steady, you have the exact same things in your neighborhood, in your community, that folks who may live in another part of town have in their community. And so that is where we are, and that's what we're trying to do in the long run. But in the short run, events like the Spring Fling brings community partners, volunteers, and sponsors together to bring those resources right in the community so people can have access to human beings, to give them even more information about what is available to them. If in fact they know, if people know better, oftentimes they will do better. And so we have to make sure at a minimum they know by providing them with the information. And so again, I want to thank Ms. Lolis, and I want to thank all the nurses on our team and all of the folks who are working with us this Saturday, 10 a.m., 4000 Gus Young Avenue, Martin Luther King Community Center, Spring Fling, District 7, 2022. We are so looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And there's another silent killer that has been amongst us, and it has given the community such a black eye, and we don't talk about it until it lands on our doorstep. Mental health, right? It's one of those things we don't want to talk about it. We don't have any issues. We don't have any problems. I don't want people in my business. I'm not crazy. I don't need a counselor. It's all of the negativity that surrounds mental health. And I'm trying my best to be more in touch with self. Did you get your steps in today? Mental, physical, spiritual, because every day it looks different. Feeding my mental health sometimes may look like reading a scripture. Some days it may look like I'm hitting the punching bag. Some days it may be in there tinkering around, taking a nap, or cooking some of my favorite recipes, right? But if we're not addressing that we have issues and that life just becomes so much at times, we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I know with Metro Health, you all give some really hard stats at times. People come to you for testing and they can get rapid results. Rapid results can do one of two things: give you the information, yes, but then it may give you the information that you were not equipped or prepared for, that's life-changing in 20 minutes or less. So then what does that do to your mentality? What does that do to those caregivers? Kristen, Miss Shirley, and Lamont, this is an open-ended question for you all about mental health and how do we start to remove those stigmas?
For me, let me be the first to say, if you grew up in an environment where you're exposed to things that are negative, you probably suffer from PTSD, right? There is some research that is done by Dr. Andre Andretti out of California that says people who live in inner city communities suffer from more PTSD than those who have gone off to war. Soldiers who have gone off to war and returned, they suffer from PTSD. That's real tough. So the reality of the situation is I myself go to a therapist every week. Because when you're exposed to so much negativity, so much trauma as a result of trying to help people, then you become an individual who needs help. So let me be the first to say that I need help. I need my mental therapy. I need my mental illness to be addressed. And when I talk about mental illness, it doesn't mean that I'm crazy. It simply means that when you're trying to do so much, you're trying to help so many, you're exposed to so much anger, so much poverty, so much despair, it can begin to weigh on you. And when it starts to weigh on you, it can put you into a state of depression. You could slip into a state of discomfort, and you could then begin to start exhibiting behaviors that are not normal. And so what you have to do is be able to release some of what you're feeling. Sometimes men don't have to always be strong. We need to be able to release some of what we're feeling so that we can get to a point of healing and then continue to do the work that we know is so vitally needed in our community. So mental health is a huge issue. I think in the Black community, we have to get away from identifying those who have a therapist, those who have a counselor, those who may visit a psychiatrist as someone who is crazy, because that's just not true. We all come to this world with needs. And sometimes when the needs we have are not being met by normal ways, we have to seek additional support and seek additional help. For some, it's the church. For some, it's exercise. For some, it's eating. But at the end of the day, when we start thinking about our mental stability, some of us need to go and have a conversation with an individual who has gone to school and been trained on how to help people work through some of their mental issues, some of their life issues. And so in doing so, if we are more intentional about saying to the community, it's okay to hurt, it's better to heal, and there are resources and there are opportunities for you to get that, I think we'll see a better situation. And I'm gonna tell you something else. The majority of the successful people, or let me rephrase it, the majority of people we identify as being really successful have a therapist.
Right.
They have a psychiatrist. They go and see someone because they're carrying the weight of the pressures of trying to be successful around all day, every day. And sometimes it can take a toll on your mental stability. And so you have to, again, go somewhere, be able to release that, talk to someone, get you some help so that you can just feel better without having to do something crazy. And so as long as we are able to have honest conversations about healing, have honest conversations about what we're feeling, I think we can change the narrative in the community. I think we have to give people, listen, I have a list of about 15 therapists on my phone. I've shared it on social media. I've shared it with individual people who send me messages in my DM. And it's surprising so many people have reached out to me and said, I need a good therapist, send me that list. I need a good therapist, send me that list. Because the reality of the situation is no one wants to hurt. No one wants to be in pain. No one wants to struggle. People are looking for and want to feel good about who they are, be confident, have self-esteem, be a leader, be helpful, be supportive, be positive. And sometimes what we're exposed to doesn't always create an environment for us to feel that way. We got to get some mental health.
That's true. Thank you so much for that. And, you know, that's a whole nother show in itself. We're going to do a round table with a bunch of our strong men and just start unveiling it one layer at a time, because women will go to the beauty shop and we'll sit in there and we'll talk about our issues and we'll call each other up on a group line. Kristen, you know, I'm telling the truth. Miss Shirley, you know, I call it, you talking about, hey, Miss Shirley, listen, just hear me out. Just hear me out. But fellas, they don't really release their emotions because they've been taught not to cry. They've been taught not to show weakness. And, you know, during the pandemic, so many families were hurting and so many men were starting to feel as if they could not provide for their families or find answers or solutions for themselves. And even on the medical standpoint, with the services that you all provide at Metro Health for those life-changing decisions that's on the other end of a test at times, or even being in a position to where now we need to have the conversation with our partners that we may need to go get tested together. How is it that you choose the counselors that you all work with Metro Health?
Well, we are very fortunate in that we have some really good counselors. They are compassionate, considerate, they are good listeners, and of course, we are trained by Department of Health to provide counseling for HIV and other sexually transmitted diseases.
Right.
And then we have our nurse practitioner who is just excellent with dealing with other health issues that occurs in our community. When Metro Health is interviewing, we really look at the whole individual. Not only do we talk with them about their skills, which is necessary,
Right.
but we also talk with them about using open-ended questions. What made you apply for this position? How do you feel this will work in that you may have someone who is HIV positive, and how would you respond? And we teach those things, but how would a person respond without having training?
Right.
So we need to know all of these questions. We need to know the answers. And like I said, we have been really fortunate here at Metro Health with our counselors. I want to go back to one question you asked about mental health.
Yes, ma'am.
And I tell you, he did an excellent job of really expressing his about that. But one thing I want to say is that stigma prevents people from getting the help that
True.
is needed. And with mental health, it's a big stigma. And we also have to fight against things that we've heard, like everything that happens in here stays in here. We don't talk about that to other people. So when we start dealing with those issues and saying, look, mental health is something we need to take care of, it's normal. Prayerfully, we'll have more people getting the help that is needed.
Absolutely. And you know, Kristen, as a nurse practitioner, you see so many patients every single day. You know, I don't envy the position at all because I can't imagine the things that you see that you are unable to unsee, whether it's with the children, whether it's with their parents and their caregivers. What are some of those triggers or some of those signs that we as caregivers should be on the lookout for in case we at least want to gently approach the conversation of saying, hey, is everything okay?
We generally look for the patient, especially a patient that you have come in many times, and you usually notice that they're usually upbeat, more talkative, and then when they come in and you notice they're, you know, more quiet, more withdrawn, or just don't seem like themselves, then you know that, hey, start asking questions. Hey, are you okay? And hey, you know, what's going on? And usually most of the time they'll open up and kind of, you know, start talking about what's going on.
Yeah.
But I think just getting to know your patients, and then once you realize that there's a change in them, then you can that kind of opens the door to get them to start talking.
It does. It does. That's very helpful, you know, because we know our family, we know our friends, we know the temperature. Whether if we have the solutions and the answers, maybe not. But if we identify it and we say, we're here with you, we're listening, we're willing to walk you through the process or at least get you to someone and not judge you, but we can love you through this. That's all we really need. That's what everyone really needs. And as we bring this to a close, because I know that we have more things to get together for this spring fling that's taking place in District 7 on April 9th. It's a field trip and they have 499 baskets to give away because one of them belongs to me, Mayor Pro Tem, one of them mine. I'm telling you right now, because if not,
the Queen of Baton Rouge Radio get whatever she wants.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you for that, man. I appreciate you. And you know what? You've been rocking me for a long time. On the 18th, it'll mark my 25th radio anniversary, you know, and every day I'm grateful that God has allowed me this platform so we can be responsible with our platforms and have conversations such as these. And our family and our friends and our listeners become more equipped with the information that we all need, because we've been growing through this together. You know what I mean? Like, we're not strangers to each other or to our community. So we're able to identify where the help needs to go first, who needs to talk to who, and who we trust and who we don't. You know, we just want to be transparent enough to say that these are the times that we can't afford the smoke and mirrors.
That's right. And LaTangela, let me say this. Congratulations to you on 25 years.
Thank you.
Let me say thank you for all of your support. Every school where I have served as a teacher, a principal, assistant principal, you've always been Johnny on the spot. If I call you, whatever you need, I'm on my way. And I know you don't do that for everybody. So I sincerely appreciate you. I know you would do it for everybody, but you don't do it for everybody. And you've done it for me. So I love you and I appreciate you. And I wish you 25 more successful years to do it bigger and better.
Thank you. And I love you too. And you know, Lamont Cole throw the best field trips ever. How I'm supposed to say no to that? Like, what? It's
we try to treat you. We try to treat you like the royalty you are when you come around. You know what I'm saying?
And look, it'll be no different because you roll out the red carpet for everybody. And on Saturday, April 9th, District 7 getting ready to take this thing to the next level right there at the Martin Luther King Community Center, 4,000 Gus Young. If you hadn't been, follow the car in front of you. I promise you, you will not get lost. They have a lot of entertainment coming out. 500 of them Easter baskets. Well, we're going to say 501 because instead of taking one, I'm going to donate one. So we got 501 of them things. And it's going to be a great time. And I want you to come on out. Metro Health, I appreciate you all for so much that you have done in our communities. Lamont, you're no stranger to this hot seat. And this is an extension of your office as well. So listen, in closing, anybody want to give you any shout outs? How can we find you? How can we help push your needle forward?
Listen.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead, Ms. Lolis. Ladies first.
Okay. I just want to say thank you to Councilman Lamont Cole and his staff. Of course, we are housed. Metro Health is housed in the Dr. Martin Luther King Center as well. And I love the way that they serve the community. And we are especially happy to participate and be a sponsor in this event. We will have educational material. We will be testing. We want to be of service. We're going to even have snowballs out there. It is our pleasure to serve our community. Thank you for the opportunity.
Anytime. Kristen?
Yes, ma'am. Again, thank you for having us on, and congratulations on your 25 years.
Thank you so
much. You know, to the listeners, don't hesitate to come see us at 950 East Washington Street on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for the clinic, and testing is every day, Monday through Friday.
Awesome. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you so much. Lamont, closing words.
Listen, again, I want to thank you, Ms. Lolis, for your kind words. I want to thank you, Nurse Franklin, for everything that you and the rest of the folks over there at Metro Health are doing to support me, not only for this event, but you all always answer the call. And thank you so much. To the community out there, listen, follow me on Lamont Cole on Instagram, Lamont Cole on Facebook, it's Lamont Cole on Twitter, it's Lamont Cole. On YouTube, it's Lamont Cole. I share all of the information on all of those platforms. Definitely come out on Saturday at 10 a.m. at the Martin Luther King Community Center, 4,000 Gushing Avenue. Looking forward to having a tremendous time. Protect your mental health. Parents, read to your children. When you're done reading to them, have them read back to you. If you hadn't been vaccinated, get vaccinated. We're not clear of COVID yet, and we want to be completely, but we know we can do that by getting vaccinated and making sure we maintain the same types of social distance strategies that we have. But in a community event that we're about to have, if you want to mask up, feel free. Although mask mandates have been lifted, I don't think anyone is going to look at you differently if you wear a mask. Listen, we're trying to stay safe. We want to have fun. Come out Saturday. let's just make it happen. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go.
Here it is. Me too. Saturday, April 9th is going down in a major way. We got more work to do. So I want you to chase the sun or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it. I love you. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. See y'all soon.
Likewise. Likewise. See you soon.